Alright guys, so there's spoilers for the FNAF 2 movie in this, obviously, pretty big one, so if you haven't watched the movie and you don't want to see spoilers, then I recommend you watch my spoiler-free review or one of my predictions videos instead. But basically there was a leak, kind of weird talking about a FNAF leak that's not related to the graphic novels, like last time, like I did in the last video, with the new cover for the Tales from the Pizzaplex graphic novels. But there was a leak for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. Well, of course the movie's already out, but the FNAF 2 movie, there's some behind-the-scenes photos, like a photo shoot or something, and there's been a couple photos that I want to take a look at and, analyze. There's not really much to say about them, but there's one important thing that we're going to be talking about in this. One important character, which, if you've watched the movie, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't watched the movie and you don't want to see spoilers, why are you still watching? Do you just not care? Whatever, let's just get into it. Let's stop yapping. So basically, there's this dude / Chad on Twitter / X, and he was seeing on some photos from a photo shoot for the FNAF 2 film. And I guess one day he was just like, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. I know what I should do. I might as well just leak those Five Nights at Freddy's 2 photos that I have. I'm gonna become a FNAF leaker. Why not? I'm bored. Let's do it. And then he just decided to drop a bunch of these behind-the-scenes photos. And, apparently in all these photos there's, a sort of Where's Waldo situation where he decided to Photoshop John Cena in pretty much every single one of these photos. Apparently he's in there in most or all of these. Apparently he's in this one too, but I don't see him anywhere. People are saying he's right there on Baby's left. No, he isn't. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there on the right. He's not there on the left. He's not there. So anyway, there's the Circus Baby one. This one's probably one of the more interesting ones out of all of them. But the most interesting one is the character that got the most images, which is Springtrap. Man, he looks a little. I'm kind of mixed on him. He looks both at the same time cool, but he looks like a weird cosplay. He looks kind of like empty. He looks kind of flat. Like the guy inside wearing the suit is like tiny, and then the suit is too big for him or something. I don't know. He looks a little bit weird, and the costume itself is a bit weird. Like if you compare it to DaRegularSauce's one, who also did work on the movie, I'm pretty sure, on the Withereds. He might have even worked on Springtrap, but I don't even know. But apparently he worked on the movie, and his one is way better. Of course, his one is supposed to be more like the games version. The Blumhouse one is, of course, supposed to be more in the movie style, more of a realistic style, I guess. Kind of realistic, yeah. But anyways, we'll talk about him more later on. But back to the leak, the story. I think this guy set off a chain reaction because he wasn't the only one that started posting pictures from this behind-the-scenes shoot. A whole other bunch of people started posting them. And there's just so many now. What's going on? I don't really have an explanation for where these images came from. If you guys know where they came from, or if one of you guys watching this was one of the leakers and know where they came from, where all these people got these images from, then please let me know or leave a comment on this video. My best guess is that since multiple people have been posting these images, and that multiple people have access to these images, they've all got to have come from the same source. So I don't know where that is, or who that was, where they came from, why they got released now, I don't know. And since multiple people have reposted and shared these images multiple times already, of course, it makes it even harder to track down where these images came from. And there's so many of these images, man. There's hundreds of them. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to post them all, man. There's so many. I can't even describe how many there are. I'm not sure if I'm going to be showing these or if I'm going to be censoring them. I'm probably going to be showing them, but I don't know because I'm kind of scared of this video getting taken down. I really don't know. I don't think they will, or at least I hope they don't, because I don't think they did that with the first movie once. Well, they're not the photo shoots from the first movie, but there's images from the first movie that I don't think they've taken down or anything. And since this isn't footage from the actual movie, I think I'll be fine, but I don't know. I'm just very scared, but I probably will show them. I'll be very brave, but I wouldn't be surprised if this video has to get re-uploaded or something at some point. I really hope it doesn't, though. So if someone at Blumhouse is watching this video and they're not happy with it, then please just get in contact with me. And also, just in case, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in theaters right now, but make sure you guys buy a ticket and all that if you haven't already. I'm sure you guys already have. And it's also coming to streaming platforms like December 23rd or something around then, yes. So in total, there were about 73 different behind-the-scenes photos that were leaked that are a part of this same set that I could find. There might be more than that, but I don't know. Man, there could be even more that come out when I post this video. Now, the first thing I want to say about this leak, people are saying that all of these images are fake. They're all either 3D models or they're all AI generated. I highly doubt any of these are fake. Some of these, they kind of give off the vibes that they're 3D renders, but I really doubt they're 3D renders, 3D models, or any sort of AI generated thing. I really doubt they are. There's a possibility that they've been tampered with, because, of course, I think in half of these, there's a hidden John Cena that's been edited into half of these, so maybe they've been edited or tampered with, but I don't know. Maybe some of these ones that I'm showing have been tampered with, but I just don't know. I highly doubt any of these have been heavily edited, or they've been AI generated, or they're 3D renders. I highly doubt they are. I'm pretty certain these are all real. Now, the first question I want to answer is, why were these images taken in the first place? The main reason, of course, is that they were taken for promotional purposes, for like trailers or teasers or anything, or posters, especially for the ones where you can see they've got some special lighting in them. Definitely, yes, that's probably the reason why. But some of these, we haven't seen them before. They just went unused, like the one with the withered animatronics in the same style as the first movie poster. But of course, they all could have just gone unused because they just didn't like the images or something. They didn't have time to edit them or something. They just didn't like them. They just didn't want to use them. Another reason these could have been taken is because they want to give some reference material to the people that make the merchandise for the movie. So these could have been used for the people that made the popcorn buckets and all that for the movie theaters. These could have been taken for reference purposes for merchandise companies. But why take photos of the first movie animatronics? Why would we use the first movie animatronics as reference material or for promotional photos? It doesn't make sense. They're not a part of the movie. They only had a small role in the movie. But there was merchandise based off the first movie designs, like the Freddy plush with the pizza tin. Although the pizza tin had Toy Freddy on it, the Freddy plush itself, it was based off the first film's Freddy. It wasn't based off Toy Freddy. And then there was also the cupcake drink bottle, but ironically, we haven't seen the cupcake in any of these leaked behind the scenes photos, so maybe this isn't the case. And even if it was the case, why take photos of Circus Baby and Springtrap? It doesn't make sense. Circus Baby, yeah, it's just on set, so maybe it wasn't taken for these purposes. But Springtrap, he has a whole photo shoot with a bunch of photos of him. A ton, he has the most out of any of them. So why him specifically? What's going on? And it comes down to probably one of the most obvious answers is that they were basically just testing how the camera works, how they look in camera, the animatronics, how the colors look, how they look in different lighting. That's probably what they were testing, and they probably decided to get some other good shots of the characters just in case for other purposes as well at the same time. But there's probably a bunch of different reasons they took all these photos, just like with any other movie where they of course have to take different behind the scenes photos of the characters, the actors, and anything else important because they just need some photos for promotional purposes or references or just to test how they look on camera or anything. Alright, so let's look at the main highlights in this set of leaks, like the ones that have any sort of importance or have anything interesting in them. This one with the puppet, you can see how the puppeteers are using the puppet strings to puppet the puppet to bring the puppet to life. Gee, that's a tongue twister, guys. But it's an interesting look at the strings and wires that they use to basically bring the puppet to life. Another one is this image of Foxy's arms, which is obviously related to the ending scene when he destroys Toy Bonnie and all that with his hand and his hook reaching through the window. So it's got to be related to that, but why would they need a picture of them? I can only assume that they just wanted to see how it looked on camera and compare it to the regular Foxy, the actual Foxy animatronic maybe? I don't know. Also, in Withered Bonnie, in two of these photos, he has the red eyes like he did in FNAF 2 instead of like the blue ones that he had in the actual movie. And I have to say, man, this looks so much better than what we got in the final movie. You can see there's some weird, like, light on this one. It's like they're using this to, like, reflect or laser point the eyes on or something. I don't know what that is. But I wonder if they were going to actually go through with this, but they found it too hard to get these red eyes in the actual movie. So that's why they didn't do it. But, man, it looks so much better. Withered Bonnie's eyes in the final movie, it looks alright. But, man, the red eyes here, man, they look so good. And it really brings me back to FNAF 2. And in the other picture with the red eyes with Withered Bonnie, you can see these really interesting looking lights here in the back there that they used to get the lighting in the shot. And you can also see it in this one with Spring Bonnie, man. This one, it almost makes it look like a 3D render with how perfect the lighting is, man. It looks really good. And then you've also got these ones with Circus Baby on set, man. She looks really good there in these shots, man, with a clear, almost pure white light on her. Man, they look really good. It's still crazy to think about that they made this whole animatronic just for this cameo, at least so far, man. And you can also see that they made her height accurate to, I'm pretty sure what's said on the blueprints in Sister Location, they made her height accurate to that. Man, she is massive, look at her. I mean, compared to like the set around her, man, it almost looks like she's out of scale, but it's really perfect in reality. It's just how big she is. That's really cool. Also, this one with Freddy's eyes going all weird. This almost reminds me of Freddy's eyes in FNAF 2, how they kind of look kind of drunk almost, like the weird cross-eyed look. It looks like that, but just pulled to the extreme. I don't think that was intentional. I think it was just a mistake that they made, but it really does remind me of that. Also, going back to that one about the Withered animatronics doing the classic first movie pose with a poster with all of them lined up behind each other. I wonder if this went unused because they couldn't get Withered Bonnie in there, because Freddy's head here is just blocking Withered Bonnie. I'm sure they could have done it, but maybe they couldn't get the shot to work with Withered Bonnie. Maybe because Withered Freddy was just blocking him, or because he didn't have a face and it just looked weird. I don't know. But now, let's take a deeper dive into Springtrap. Now, people were unsure if this was actually the final Springtrap costume that was used in the post-credits for the second movie. But people have compared this Springtrap in this photo shoot to the Springtrap in the post-credit scene and the other behind-the-scenes photo on set during the post-credit scene, and it looks like, yes, this is the same costume that was in the final movie. Now, there are still people saying it's a different suit, but I really don't know. I feel like it most likely is the same. Maybe they did make some minor tweaks, but I don't know. Like I said, I think I said before, the hands, I think they might be a little bit different. They might be missing more pieces in the behind-the-scenes photo. It might be. I'm not 100% sure. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with how this costume looks, and they just hope that this is a placeholder costume, and that in the third movie, they're going to redo him and make him look a lot better. I think he almost definitely will look a lot better in the third movie. I don't know how different he will look compared to this costume, but let me know what you think of this costume design, and how much of him you think they will change in the third movie. I feel like considering they changed the yellow rabbit in this movie compared to how he looked in the photograph in the first movie, I think there's a good chance they will change him up a significant amount. Now, for the first movie, I'm pretty sure they just digitally cleaned up the movie Yellow Rabbit and turned him into Spring Bonnie for that photograph, or it was just CGI entirely, because the head shape looks quite a bit different, more thin compared to the Yellow Rabbit in the movie. So since that wasn't an actual costume for the first movie, they had more freedom to change up the Yellow Rabbit's fixed version, but this Springtrap is an actual costume, so the tweaks might be minor, but I really don't know. It was just in a post-credit scene where he was covered up, so maybe they will change him. I think they definitely will, because if they're not going to change him up for the third movie, then why not just show off the full costume that you put effort into in the second movie, instead of having him covered up? Now, let's just talk about this guy's design. The first main thing is his head. It's very fat looking. Maybe not fat per se, but chubby. I think round is the best word. Very round, very lumpy looking, instead of the more slimmed down looking mask of the Yellow Rabbit in the first and second movie, and Springtrap in the third game. The next thing I want to talk about is that there's no corpse on him. So I really think that this is a temporary model. The corpse in Springtrap is literally one of his main characteristics. In this photo shoot, it's very obviously just someone in a black suit wearing the costume. There's no endoskeleton or flesh parts of him, it's all just black. There's nothing inside of him. There's also very little of the flesh, little stringy bits, like on his feet. There's some there, but it doesn't extend onto his actual feet, so maybe that's sort of a design change, or they just didn't want to do that for this area, because you're probably not going to see it in the movie. You didn't see it in the movie, but there's not much of the red flesh on him. Comparing this guy to DaRegularSauce's cosplay, man, you can see how much better the fan did than the official one, even though I'm pretty sure the fan, I'm not sure, he might have worked on this costume, but we just don't know. He only revealed that he worked on the Withereds, I think, and maybe some of the toys, I don't know. But man, I forgot how good his one looks. It's more accurate to the games, of course, aside from like the endoskeleton and the spring locks. It's more stylized there, but it's overall more accurate to the games with like the head shape and the overall look of it, compared to Blumhouse's one, which has to be more accurate to a more realistic style, I guess, and the Yellow Rabbit from the movie, of course. So I don't think they could have used this cosplay for the movie, and I don't think in any world they probably would have let him do that. Maybe they would have, I don't know, but you can see how DaRegularSauce got the spring lock endo parts and the flesh on there really well done. It looks really good. Maybe it needs more depth, so in the movie they might have to CGI that, I don't know, but it looks really good. And talking about the head again, you can see how much thinner the head on DaRegularSauce's one is. It's more slimmer, I guess, and the official one in Blumhouse's one, that looks more like a lumpish, like a clump, I guess. I'm not sure how to describe it. And also the eyelids on DaRegularSauce's one, it's a dark green. It's still pretty light, but it's more of a dark green like how it was in FNAF 3. But on the movie one, the Jim Henson Creature Shop one, it's more of like a very dark green, almost black almost. I think it might be just a lighting, but it's very dark. Also, the weathering on Jim Henson's one, they went very light on it compared to DaRegularSauce's one. You can see all like the cracks on there. You can see like the glossy, reflective, shiny bits like gunk or whatever. You can see the cracks. You can see the multiple shades of dirt on him and all the grime. It looks really good, the weathering on him. The Jim Henson Creature Shop, they went very light on it. There's just a bunch of black spots on him. But the burns on him around the withering, I'll say, that looks really good, and it definitely fits into the movie style compared to DaRegularSauce's one, which is more accurate to the games, where it's just tears and all that. But they both look really good. The Jim Henson Creature Shop, they did really good. They made the withering on the Springtrap costume look smaller. They made it more smaller compared to FNAF 3 and DaRegularSauce's one, but it still looks really good. I'm really happy with how the withering came out from him. But the weathering overall on the main suit, the fur, it looks a little bit weird, but overall, again, this is just a post-credit scene, just a test costume. It's probably going to be changed up for the third movie. Also, the movie Springtrap, he's missing the dark lower half of his body, his pelvis, his legs. They should be in a darker color. They should be different colors compared to the rest of his body. But no, they're the same color. Even his chest, his belly, that should be a different color as well. But no, it's the same as his main body. So I wonder if they're going to change it up for the third movie, or if they're going to leave it the same, because that's how it was on the Yellow Rabbit. Also, speaking of the Yellow Rabbit, the withering, it doesn't really match up with the Yellow Rabbit anyway. It's kind of like in a similar place as the Yellow Rabbit, but it's not the exact same. It's definitely more altered. And the big tear that the cupcake gave him, it's kind of there. It looks like it merged with the bigger one there. It kind of looks like it's that, but it's not really the same. It's similar, but it's not the same. So I wonder if they're going to change it up from the Yellow Rabbit's design. I think they will. They kind of have already here, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of similar, but it's not the same. So I feel like they will definitely stray closer to Springtrap from FNAF 3 rather than the Yellow Rabbit from the first movie. Also, this guy is kind of like a similar case with Scraptrap, where in some lighting and some poses, he looks really bad, but then when you give him some good lighting, you give him a good pose, he looks really good. Like in some shots in this photo shoot, he looks really good. He looks amazing almost, especially from a distance. He looks really good, but when you go in closer, you change up the lighting, change up the pose, he looks a little bit weird. He doesn't look really good. I also want to talk about the blue eye color for him. I don't really like it. It's alright, but I would have preferred it if it was a white color, which it kind of is in some shots. Maybe it can change just depending on the scene. They might change it to white just depending on the scene. Change it to blue. The blue is more accurate to Spring Bonnie, so I guess that makes sense, or at least Spring Bonnie in the movie, because Spring Bonnie's, his eye colors changed many times, so the blue is alright, but I prefer it if it was a white color instead of blue. Also, maybe the reason this guy looks weird is because in one shot, he's doing the mimic arm curl. He's doing it with the left hand. He's doing the mimic arm curl. So maybe he's actually the mimic. That's why he looks weird, because it's actually the mimic in disguise. That's why it's clearly not a dead guy and a corpse mixed with a spring-lock endoskeleton. It's actually an endoskeleton wearing a costume. But that wraps it up for Springtrap's design. Again, I want to reiterate that I'm not hating on this design. I think it actually looks alright. It definitely needs a couple improvements, but it looks alright, and this is of course a leaked photo shoot of what might be a prototype test costume, a placeholder costume that was just used in the post-credits of the second movie. I do kind of wish that they refined him for the second movie and had him in the climax and gave him a couple lines. We saw him moving instead of just getting what we got, because now this is the full body reveal we get of Springtrap in the movie universe. This is how we get to see the full body instead of seeing it on the big screen. And even after this, we're going to be seeing it in trailers and in teasers, so I kind of wish we just saw it on the big screen instead of here. But maybe that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Now, I have one more question. Why does Springtrap have so many photos? He has the most out of any character on here. There's tons of him. As I'm recording the audio for this video, more photos keep on coming in. I keep finding more of them, so it's more closer to 80. I said like 72 or something before. No, the number is closer to like 80 in this set. And there's like 20 of Springtrap. There's like 20% of them is Springtrap. Maybe the other characters got a ton of photos, but only a couple of them have been leaked, and because Springtrap is very important, the leakers have just chosen to upload those ones first, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe when they were having this photo shoot, they decided to focus on Springtrap because they wanted to nail down his look. They wanted to see how he looks. Maybe they were thinking about having him uncovered in the movie, but they just didn't like the look of the costume. Maybe they wanted to see how it would look on camera if they decided to make him wake up and move around or something. I don't know. Or maybe they took these photos to send to Scott or someone high up because they weren't there at the workshop or on set to basically approve and see the costume in person themselves. So they needed to take a bunch of photos so they could get a proper look at the costume and see what needs tweaking or changing or to improve it or whatever. But that wraps it up with Springtrap. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think of this design. Why do you think they took so many photos of him? I'm really curious to hear what you guys think of this guy. And again, I'm not hating on this design. I think it has a lot of potential. It just needs a lot of tweaking. But it's a really good start, I have to say. It's almost there. But that's it for this video. And also, this wouldn't be the first time that a Springtrap design got hate. Definitely not. But I'll see you guys in the next FNAF 2 movie video. I've got a couple more to do. Man, there's still a lot more to talk about with this movie. Bye.